Hello, my name is Isaak Welch. This is my PowerPoint on my trip to Japan. I went on my exchange early last summer, from June to early August. My exchange was through 4-H stateside and LABO and UTREK while in Japan. LABO and UTREK are both Japanese programs designed to help Japanese learn English. My trip started in Portland, Oregon, where I said goodbye to my family and boarded the plane to Seattle, Washington, where I met up with the rest of the 8-week 4-H exchange students. We spent the evening socializing and going over rules and departed the next day after spending the night in a hotel. The next day was almost entirely spent on the airplane, where I got to better know some of the exchangees. So when I first got to Japan, I was in Tokyo, and we were all very tired after having spent a long flight on the airplane. After a quick Japanese orientation, we were taken to the Tokyo Olympic Center, where I stayed in a room just like this one. My first day in Japan was spent in the Tokyo Olympic Center. The Olympic Center was my first introduction to Japanese culture and food. This is a picture from the orientation that we went to the next day, which was a longer orientation. And this is a picture of us practicing the song Happy, which we later performed for our Japanese exchange host families. At first, I wasn't sure what Japan would be like. As the days progressed, however, I gradually began to form an idea of what to expect from my Japan exchange. This is a picture of my host family. On the left side you can see my host brother Hayato, who is my oldest host brother at this family. He's 6. The middle person is Wataru, and he was 3. On the right side you can see Aki, who was 2, and my host mother Aya, who's 35. I had a young host family, and they were really nice and easy to get along with. I spent my first weeks with them and had a wonderful time. These are pictures taken at the Japanese school that I went to. School, which was the main focus of my first 4 weeks of my exchange, was the core of half my exchange. During school, we learned basic Japanese in a fun and casual environment. I had a very personable host family who were very friendly and easy to get along with. This is a picture taken at the school of one of the events we did, Japanese-style calligraphy. This is a picture taken of some of the events we went on while we were at the Japanese school. The picture on the top left is of us at a Japanese tea ceremony, and on the bottom right is a picture of us at a traditional Buddhist shrine. I did a lot of things with my host family while I was there, one of which was a LABO party. A LABO party is one of the core events of the LABO organization, and Japanese students meet once a week to learn Japanese. This is the welcome party for me and another exchange student, Hannah, where we had a Japanese potluck and got to meet all of the LABO students. This is a picture of Kendo. Kendo is traditional Japanese sword fighting, and my host father had a good friend who liked Kendo and was very good at Kendo. On the left you can see a picture of me practicing Kendo with him, and on the right you can see my host father, Takashi, and me posing, me in traditional Kendo uniform. One of the interesting cultural things, and most certainly not the only one, was a tatami mat, and they're made of grass and they're very finely woven, and they're one of the traditional parts of Japan that the Japanese have held on to. And they're very fragile, and they don't like it if you step on them with shoes, because shoes can damage them. Something else that I saw a lot of were Shinto shrines. And Shinto shrines were everywhere. The one that I have pictures of was in the sub-district of Shibuya. These are all pictures from the Shinto shrine. You can see some of the different aspects of it. And the two main religions in Japan were Shinto and Buddhism. Shinto focusing more on nature and earth and spirits, and Buddhism focusing on yourself and learning to, I guess, learning to be enlightened within yourself. So after spending 4 weeks with my first host family, it was time to move on to my second host family. I spent the night at the Tokyo Olympic Center again, after being introduced to the other exchangees, whom you can see here. During my second 4 weeks, I stayed with a different host family than my first one, and living life as a Japanese do was the focus of my second 4 weeks. To that end, I traveled with my host family to places such as the grocery store, school, and shopping. My second host family was a very busy family. Unfortunately, I didn't get very many pictures with them. After spending time with my host family, I went to kind of the UTREK version of a LABO party called UTREK camp. It was a summer camp in the hills of Japan, and Japanese students met, and they do it once a year for 3 days and kind of go to a summer camp, which reminded me a lot of American-style summer camps. This is a picture of me and one of my good friend counselors posing in a James Bond style "You only live twice" pose. Here we have pictures of us at the lake at the UTREK camp, and this lake was very famous in Japan. And this is just one of the many events that we did while I was at the UTREK camp. One of the things I went with my second host family to was a Japanese Zen garden. This Zen garden was unique because it was a fusion of British and Japanese gardens. Here you can see on the top the British parts of the garden, which I found very interesting, and on the bottom are the Japanese traditional parts of the Zen garden. This is one of the few pictures that I was able to take with my host brother. I didn't see him very much because even though it was summer, he was studying hard for the next school year. And that's all. Thank you for watching my video presentation.